what's the Patriots' biggest obstacle en route to another Lombardi?
Injury. I mean, plainly injury. They are as much of a lock to at least make the Super Bowl as any team I can remember in my lifetime preseason, right? They're the defending Super Bowl champions. Now, they got very lucky to be the defending Super Bowl champions, but the reason they got lucky to be defending is because they didn't have Gronk, right? They won anyway without Gronk. Usually if Gronk is just compromised, they're in the Super Bowl, but maybe they won't win, right? In this case, he's not there, and they win anyway. Injury is always the issue for the Patriots because not only do they have Tom Brady, an excellent and smart personnel, coaching staff and players, but they have the greatest coach of all time in Bill Belichick. So everyone's value, especially when taken as a piece in a unit, is heightened with Belichick as the coach. As I've said, A.J. Liebling, the great boxing writer, wrote in The Sweet Science, boxing is chess played on human bodies. Not quite. Because one piece in boxing can be superior to the other piece physically, and then how much chess are you really playing? No, football is chess played on human bodies, and the coach is the player. And Bill Belichick's the greatest football chess player who ever lived. So injury is their biggest threat.
They have two bigger threats than injury. Atlanta Falcons and the Seattle Seahawks. Now, obviously, that's meaning the Super Bowl because I expect them to go through the AFC. I just don't think Oakland and Pittsburgh are good enough. It's just that simple to me. And don't get me started with anybody in the AFC South. I don't believe in any of them in terms of whether or not they can compete with the Patriots. So it's about Oakland. It's about Pittsburgh. I'm not sold on Kansas City because of Alex Smith. And that's just the way that I feel about it. And nobody in the AFC, please don't get me started. And so here we are in the Super Bowl. The Atlanta Falcons, you've got a running attack in Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman. You got Julio Jones as one of your wideouts. Mohamed Sanu is another. You got Matt Ryan, a league MVP. And you think about all of those things in terms of the way that they performed and how they had the New England Patriots against the ropes and how they took their foot off the gas and they just lost their way and they were never able to recover. I know the chances of teams repeating as conference champions and going back to the Super Bowl is slimmer. I get all of that. But I think that Atlanta is that good. I think they're that hungry and motivated. I think the pain and the stench of blowing a 25-point lead in the Super Bowl has stayed with them throughout this entire offseason. I expect them to be incredibly highly motivated. That's one obstacle. The other is the Seattle Seahawks, whose defense was big time. And then you go out and get Sheldon Richardson from the New York Jets to apply more pressure to the quarterback. Seattle is absolutely loaded. Russell Wilson is healthy. They've got a bevy of weapons at the wideout spot. I just look at them. My issue with Seattle, however, is I'm not sure about their running game right now, and it's primarily because I'm not sure about their offensive line. I don't think Schneider, the GM, along with Pete Carroll, have prioritized the offensive line the way that they should have. As a result, I think it compromises your offense, particularly your running game, as well as the health of Russell Wilson, who for the most part does stay healthy enough to perform, but he wasn't 100% last year. I just look at the combination of those two things, Max, and I think either of those teams have the capability of beating New England in a Super Bowl. It's just that I don't see anybody stopping the Patriots from getting to the Super Bowl.